Hello, welcome back to our show. We are here. We're going to talk about 2020. Always important to look to the past as we look to the future. So we're going to give our best moment from last year and our worst moment from last year. And because we all basically know what my worst moment is from last year, I'll start it off because it will be very quick because I've talked about it a lot already. Kevin Cash pulling Blake Snell.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. That was the single most heartbreaking moment in my life. There's really nothing else to add. My best moment from last year, there's not a lot to pick from because there wasn't a lot that happened last year outside of the Rays doing really well. The Nationals were awful. The Oakland A's were pretty good. They beat the White Sox in the first round, which was great, but that was about it. And there was not really much to root for aside from the underdog Miami Marlins somehow making it to the playoffs, which was good for them. Best moment from last year, Mike Brasso's home run off Aroldis Chapman to go back to the ALCS, and then the vengeance against the Houston Astros. Because what many people forget is while the Astros and the Red Sox both cheated out the Dodgers, the Astros cheated out the Rays first. They had them in the ALDS, and it was 2-0. And then they went to Tropicana Field where the Rays won both games on a bullpen game and a Charlie Morton game, and then they went back to Houston. And somehow Tyler Glasnow started tipping his pitches. People keep saying, look at the video, you'll see it. I still haven't seen it. I still don't see how he was tipping his pitches. But you see everybody whispering back to the dugout. You see Altuve and Correa Altuve on first base yelling back to the dugout like, I still don't see where he's tipping his pitches. But the Rays getting their vengeance against the Houston Astros. Perfect moment for me, even if we didn't win the World Series.
I'm not mad at it at all. I think the worst moment of 2020 was the Astros not being able to be booed by fans.
Oh,
okay?
That is a good pick. That's a good pick, man.
When we talk about the buildup to last season, pre-COVID, you, myself, the crew, and the world were saying, oh, wow, what is going to happen when it comes to the Astros in front of all these fans, especially three teams that they screwed over? The Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Rays, right?
Well, the Rays never have anybody in their stands, so that would have been a crickets anyway.
Well, exactly. Unless they met in the postseason because magically fans turn out and drop a candle.
It's true. One of the best playoff towns in all of sports is Tampa Bay.
Exactly. So there's that aspect of it. When you talk about the Astros getting off the hook with no fans, and then the league also working to protect the Astros from getting thrown at, which I understand, but I don't think that you bail out a team like that. I mean, they didn't think about any other of the competing organizations when they were bashing garbage cans and tipping off pitches using technology, nonetheless, video cameras. Okay. And so I think that the Astros got off the hook. That's not to say
I'll add to that for you a little bit there, and not just that, but you didn't take that much action to punish the Astros.
That's right.
As a major league organization, you didn't punish them at all. You gave them a slap on the wrist.
They are still recognized as the champs of that season to this day. And so, again, I don't think you strip them of the title, but I think that there's severe compensation in the form of draft picks that should have came from that. But I think we all agree that the league went a little bit light on them.
They did. Absolutely.
So that's what it is. But my best feel-good moment of last year, Freddie Freeman winning the MVP. And it's not just because of the talent that Freddie Freeman is. I think that we all agree that he has consistently been one of the most underrated players, let alone first baseman, in the entire major leagues for the duration of his career. He's always lived in other players' shadows. But the fact that this man had COVID, was extremely sick from COVID, if I'm not mistaken. Fever in the mid-hundreds, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, was literally on fire, and still being able to bounce back from that when you see so many lives that can be altered in terms of long-term effects or just short-term effects for that matter too when it comes to coronavirus. For him to go out there and basically lead that young Atlanta squad to an NLCS appearance and come back primed for a season in which they're expected to be legitimate title contenders, as we've already talked about. That foundation in Atlanta starts with Freddie Freeman. That team is built around Freddie Freeman. He is the engine that makes that team go. And I'm glad to see that he was rewarded with his first ever MVP, because anybody knows that out of all of the players in baseball, Freddie Freeman is one of the most deserving.
But I do want to ask you before we go here, what was your favorite moment from the Yankees? And what was your least favorite moment from the Yankees? If I could just get a moments from the fan aspect here.
Wow, that is.
Or from the Dodgers. I know you have a soft spot for them too.
That is.
I know the Dodgers winning the World Series probably that moment.
I think the Yankees getting bounced in the ALDS still doesn't sit well with me. And I get that it was at the hands of a very deep and well-run Rays team, which we've already talked about. Good luck. The Yankees have been consistently expected to compete now and finally get back to the World Series for the last few years. What better way to do that within a shortened 60-game season where literally any team can pop up on anybody? You know what I'm saying? Like, this was your chance to really catch a team like the Rays, who were young and inexperienced in the playoffs at that time, off guard, and you didn't do that. You didn't do what the Dodgers did to the Padres. I think that's telling. I think that that's why there's even more pressure, as I've talked about, for the Yankees to win the AL East and ultimately the pennant this season. All right? Let's get it together, y'all. New York, strong. But we're going to see. So if I had to point to it, I would definitely say the Yankees bowing out in the ALDS last year was my most disappointing.
I can't say I blame you. I hated too. I hated when my team got bounced too. Of course, it was a little more personal sabotage than yours was, but we're not going to – no therapy session today.
Woo!
That will do it for today. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. Look forward to the future and, of course, the week's final thoughts.